No, I'm good.
You need a break? Okay. Hey, welcome in everybody to another episode of Tony's Talking Trash About Music. Dino back here with me as we're delving into our favorite songs of the Velvet Underground. The Velvet Underground, that crazy band that was born out of the New York scene. And, we don't need to get into a lot of that. One thing I realized we didn't say at the end of the last one when I looked at it, Dino, was that we talked about uh, we didn't talk about how Doug Yule, really didn't talk a lot about Lou being kicked out of the band. I guess it was kind of too hard for us to deal with, or to,
Yeah,
we thought
we didn't
everybody
get
knows.
into that. No.
But I don't think you're going to find any Doug Yule songs on this.
Well, hey, let's not,
Okay,
uh,
all right.
that might happen. You know.
Well, yeah, I gave myself away, I guess. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah.
but
So
anyway, man, are you going to be? We're going to be doing this. What else was I going to say? Oh, something that I thought about that was appropriate. You and I talked about the other day. And maybe I don't know if you're interested in doing Yes or you're doing the Clash, but
yeah. Now
but
the Clash would be fun.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we can do that, and we'll do that, and that'll be a good one, another good one. They don't have that many records, of course. Some of them are pretty.
No, no.
But yeah, I never got to do Elvis today. We're working on it. But anyway, we're going to dive into the Velvet Underground, folks, and so we're going to have Dino start us off with our top 10 Velvet Underground songs, which to me are really the jewel of the Lou Reed crown as far as the art of it all. I think it really made it hard for his solo career, to
Yeah.
compare that way. So he just went deeper into certain feelings and such. But anyway, Dino, go ahead. Tell me what you think about all this. If you have anything else to say about the Velvets, you go ahead and we.
Well, I think we talked a lot about that during the upcoming Lou episode
That's right.
and of the podcast, and yeah, Velvet. Like I think what we did, we talked about. I think we talked about Iggy and Lou having these legendary bands before they became solo artists,
Right.
and a lot of the songs and a lot of Lou. See, when I think of Lou, when you think of Lou, you think of the music. I go the opposite way sometimes, and I think of just the lyrics, of
Okay.
what he's done. I mean, I love a lot of Lou's bands, in the solo, and I love the original Velvets, and but. Everything I think still everything's poetry, man, based on his background as a writer and as a poet, and a lot of this just it the music just enhances it, but the lyrics and what he's writing, when he was writing songs,
Del,
I think
the Delmore
real.
Schwartz, Syracuse University. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it just stands out. I've got a lot of as a matter of fact, I have Ron Mail from Sparks. I have his book of poet, which is always lyrics, and I'd like to have a Lou lyric book where I could just read the lyrics. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Couple. I've got one. I think I've.
There's a couple out there, and I haven't bought them, but that's what I'd like, just to be able to go through the lyrics sometime. You
It's
know, not- and on their own. You know.
yeah.
So let's start out with number 10. And this was
Okay.
a song. And the reason is I was so blown away by this song when I heard it and I listened to it. It's another one of those late night in your room vinyl, and 2 in the morning on a Friday night, you get home, you've been out, you had a few, and at a young age. And I listened to a song called The Gift at number 10. And it was another one that was like, that's unbelievable. Like, I listened to the whole thing and I had to listen to it again because I didn't think I was hearing what I heard,
Now the original name of that instrumental I think was called Booker T. They named it. It doesn't sound like Booker T in the MGs, but that's what they
No, not at all.
dinged, and it's in the one channel, and the other's the stories and
And
stuff.
exactly, the stories in the other channel,
Yeah.
which at that time was like, that's really cool.
It
Like,
was.
nobody was doing that, man. Nobody did that.
That's true. That's true. That I didn't. There's some. You find some bizarro records, but I've never heard anything quite that
Nothing.
quite that
No.
confrontational.
No.
I'm going to go the opposite of that kind of controversy thing, and one where when you first heard it, you're wondering, is he taking the piss? Which is the last song on the first side of the first on the Black album, Velvet Underground, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I just think it's a beautiful song. Da, 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 da,
It's
da.
a great song.
I love it, man.
Once again, hard to get 10 out of this, man. It's hard. You want to do 20, you know?
And you do. That was a hard one to beat out, but for what I have,
Yeah.
anyway, that's my number 10, man.
So number 9 for me, There She Goes Again.
Oh, it's a great song.
Number 9.
Okay, man, you're again a proponent of the what? Better hitter, Tony.
Well, if you do that, you're going to eliminate a lot of loose catalog.
Lose half the choices, huh?
You don't, man. I mean,
That's terrible to say,
it's
but
terrible to say
point.
that, but if
Yeah,
you
we
if
did
you
point
pull
out.
that lyric off the song, it's a great song, man.
That's funny. It is, and it's kind of almost funny because I don't take it seriously. I think it's almost a character. It's like a laughable weakness or something that
Right.
you'd be so dumb to even say that because that's the kind of shit that if you're in prison could get you fucking killed. You don't say
Oh yeah.
or whether it's a woman or a child. Anyway, number 9, I'm going Captain Obvious. Of course, the song that I played 10 billion times in my sleep and that everybody plays wrong. It's Sweet Jane, man. The song
Uh,
beginning to the end, just because it's so permeable, because it's been done so many different ways, from an acoustic thing to a heavy thing to like the metallic thing to the Wagner Hunter thing to the it's been done in different ways. The Lou Reed live in Italy version is kind of cooler, and then you did the 10-minute takes no prisoner, take a swipe at all the writers in the audience version,
yeah.
in that. But I just love it. I love it because of what it turned out to be. So that's my number 9.
Number 9. My number 8, Beginning to See the Light. You know,
Wow, that's
nice
good.
hook. I like lyrics. Um, and once again, that's one of those songs that maybe not carried over to the solo career, but you could definitely see the what was happening.
No doubt.
You know.
You know what? That to me is one of the songs that carries it on, man. And I'm going to stay right at you in the same time period frame. My number 8 on the same record. What goes on in your mind?
That's
I
well, that's ironic. Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. And that's my number 8 is what goes on. I just think, that whole thing just has such a cool vibe to it. And to think they were out playing without
Oh,
Hale. Lou was probably shitting his pants because he's thinking, man, half the sound's gone with the keyboard now. I mean, Doug Yule wants to be more of a guitar, but man, you hear some of those live things that Quine did too. It sounds like some of it was pretty explosive. Like Lou just decided to crank up the volume and say, screw it.
oh yeah.
On some of these versions of what goes on that and beginning to see the light are like 14 minutes long on that San Francisco set and stuff.
Just a jam. It's
They
a
go on
jam.
forever. All right, man. That was my number 8. What goes on?
My number 7 is What Goes On.
You're gotta be kidding me.
It's my number 7. It's What Goes
Well,
On.
well, you know what I gotta tell you? My number 7 is beginning to see the light, motherfucker. So it's you know,
so
here we go. We
so we
just
flip flop those.
and I swear to God, there's my list. It's on there.
Yeah.
It,
We flip flop those.
wow,
Yeah.
man. But they're both great songs. It's just
I
like
mean, how why is one 8 and one is 7? They're both. You know what I
they're
mean?
both right in the same. It's amazing that we see it the same way. Awesome, man. Well, go ahead, man. But that'll be
Number
quicker. Then
num
tell me your number 6.
number 6, believe it or not, might be a little low for some people. White Light, White Heat.
Oh boy, I got you, man.
Yeah, number 6.
The version you like any of the versions of it outside of that Bowie ever did? Bowie kind of did it Rush, didn't he? I mean, he did it with Spiders of Mars, I guess, didn't he?
Yeah, I like the original. I really I do. I like the version on White Light, White Heat. I just
Let me tell you a story about White Light, White Heat. I got to tell you a little story about this. This will be quick. I got invited to my cousin's daughter's. wedding, and they played it up big time. They had a horse and carriage, and they had everything in the world. It was the biggest they had a wedding, spared no expense.
What year was this?
This was probably 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
It was up in Pennsylvania. We're up in Pennsylvania, somewhere
Right.
in Somerset or something. And
Right.
all of a sudden they came in and they want to play the bride and groom's dance. And you know what the bride and groom's dance was? A paean to amphetamine use. White light, white heat. I swear to God in the Bible, they
And
were
you had nothing to do.
dancing up. And I was looking at everybody like, am I?
You had nothing to do with this.
I
You
had no involvement at all, dude. They're dancing to a bluegrass version of White Light going messing up my. They had no idea. They loved the song.
un,
I pulled my cousin aside and told him. I said, "Dude, you know what that song's about? That song's about shooting speed, and that song's about white,
uh,
white heat and the white light and the white
what the? Why
water."
did they think that was appropriate? I wonder.
Dude, they didn't know what it was. Evidently, it had been co-opted by some bluegrass thing, and
Oh,
they liked it. They were not heroin users or had nothing to do with. They,
maybe thought it had something to
dude,
do with moonshine.
dude, I was
Maybe
crying. I was like, I was in hysterics. I could not believe this was after I'd had a couple of. I wasn't drunk,
unbelievable.
but I just could not because we'd waited a long time for this big dramatic thing, and then once it happened, I was just like, I looked over at my wife, and my wife kind of looked at me funny, and I said, "Yeah, that's exactly." She even knew it was. She knew what it was.
It's unbelievable,
Look
man.
at each other like,
That
"What
is
the heck is going on here?"
that I would have lost my mind when I
It
heard
was
that.
unreal, man. But anyway, that was my That was your number six, right? But that's a long story. I'm sorry. But anyway,
Right.
number
But
six is going to take a different tack. We're going to mellow out a little bit and go to the first album with "I'll Be Your Mirror." I'll
wow.
be your mirror, reflect who you are.
Wow. That's your
And,
number
I
six.
mean, it's for somebody to say, and that's what I always say about Lou. Everybody dogs him as being like the acerbic New York smartass, cold,
Right.
not, hey, you take her out in the street and leave her, in the junkie talk and all that shit. But some of
Right.
the lyrics he's written on stuff or some of the tender, most loving, beautiful stuff. I mean, like, I'll be your mirror is like, I mean,
Oh yeah.
incredibly delicate and beautiful and simple and not a hint of the trademark sadism or whatever the hell you want to say would be in the other stuff. I just think it's a classic, and so I really like it. And that's my number six.
Wow. My number five is just like Sister Ray said.
Well, tell me about your feelings about this. I know we talked a little bit
Oh, I
about.
love that. Yeah, it's just been a classic and a staple for so many years.
I know.
You hear a song over 100 times. You know what I mean? You just
How many
it
parties? Yeah, I was just saying when we did the view, how many parties were we at in Kaiser where eventually we'd get around to playing side two of White with like White Heat with he
well,
comes down.
and from the time that we were eighth or ninth grade when we first heard it, Mitch and I would literally we called his older brother Sister Ray to his face, well, like and just to piss him off, Joe Ray, and we just called him Sister. I mean, he was Sister Ray the whole time. Well, we're gonna go over to Sister Ray's house.
That's funny. Well, man, I just gave it away, but my number five, dude, you should know that we're on the same side of the record, man. My number five is ever since I was on Crippled Monday, got my eyeballs on my knees, and baby, they were walking. I rapped for hours with Mad Mary Williams. Cause you
Oh
never
my
heard a word from me because I even love that version of. Anyway, I heard her call my name. I love that version that they played on the reunion tour too, man. Just the way he sings it, like so off just since I was on cripple Monday, got my eyeballs on my knees and baby walking. He goes like that. He gets big eyes like whoa, whoa. I just like the way. I
wow.
just love it. I love the way that they played that. The way he would play like the leads on that the reunion thing. It's good. But I mean,
Oh
the
man.
original one of that and the guitar leads at the end. There's nothing like
Yeah.
appropriation of an Ornette Coleman basically or Coltrane, soloing in that. And that's number five, and that's in That's in keeping with your number five. So go on and let's go to number four, man. I'm just following your lead on this shit, man.
Number four, I'm waiting for the man.
Oh God, classic, man.
Yeah.
How many different versions have we had of this? How about that?
Oh
Prisoner's
God, so many.
Slow
But
Blue.
once again, I really like the original. You know.
How about that one where he on don't take no prisoner. He's almost like on stupor, like
Oh man,
I love.
so many versions of
He,
this, so many different,
and then he gets
live versions.
well. He that's the one he goes into temporary thing, doesn't he? On the I'm waiting for
Oh yeah.
temporary thing on that. Yeah. My number four is going to be the unique. We talked about it, man. The unique, the harrowing, the shocking. As you claimed, the first line of the song pins you back against the freaking wall with your ears, and that's the sinister, notorious sounding, deliberately microtonal effect of the viola and John Cale and 1966-67 Venus in Furs. Number
Wow, that's your number four.
number four of all time. Yes, that's my number four favorite one of all time. I know it's maybe higher for other people, but I can't imagine anybody not having it in their top 10. So I hope I.
Oh God, no,
Where
no.
are you in number three, man? Number three for you for
Number three, uh, my number three, exactly as you said. Venus and Furs is my
wow.
number three.
What is it about it, man? You were trying to explain about it. What is it that's
It's just it just opens up a world that you just never heard before. You never heard that, and my number two is the same way, but it's it's just, you know and Nico was just so unique. She was such, and I don't know. When I first heard it, like I said, I'd never heard anything like that before. That was my first takeaway. Is I don't know what this is or what world this is, but I want to find out what the hell is going on there.
definitely sounds.
And
Well,
it
my number three, I'm going to stay in the same world, and I'm going to go with the softer, feminine touch of "Here She Comes." You bet.
it's
Femme
another.
Fatale, baby. Number three. I love it because I like to play
I
it, and I like to.
Yeah, and I was hitting that album, and I was like, maybe this one, maybe this, maybe this. I might go this way.
You know, I want to be the first to say it publicly. I want to be the first person everybody knows. So when this comes back and this is proven to be true, I can be the one to be credited on this. The song Femme Fatale and the melody, Here She Comes. You
Yeah.
better watch your step. How about Imagine All the People? Dun and dun.
Right.
He stole it from Lou. He stole it
Yeah.
stolen from Femme Fatale.
I mean, if you listen to it,
That's what I've said for a long time. At least that part
yeah,
was stolen. It may have been subconsciously stolen, but that part melodically is nearly identical. If you're going by the same sort of chord principles,
absolutely,
the look, the
absolutely.
melodies are very, very close. And so, but anyway, that's my number three, Femme Fatale,
Wow.
aka later to be known as Imagine. No, I shouldn't say that.
Later,
I don't know if he ever said that. I don't know. I never
yeah.
heard Lou said that, but I'd be
I
interested.
don't know if they got along. I don't know if they ever, Lou. I don't hear much about Lou and any of the Beatles or anything. And
No,
uh,
no. But to me,
uh,
it's similar. Anyway, man, we're down to number two.
number two, going back to Velvet Underground and Nico. My number two is All Tomorrow's Parties.
I love it, man. Just it's almost like an alarm bell. Dun-dun-dun.
It is the whole way. It's
Everybody
just
come, everybody come. Oh, it's beautiful, man.
that's my number two. All
And what
Tomorrow's
a great
Parties.
lyrical message. Like what a great message that it's almost like you got your Cinderella like type of imagery and stuff. It's a great,
Yeah,
just a
and
wonderful.
once again, Nico's vocals. I mean,
Yeah.
ah man, I love her on that song on All Tomorrow's Parties.
Me too. That's probably her best
It
performance.
is.
I agree. All right, man. My number two, you've already hit up, man. My number two is your number five. Rockin' Sally in kind.
Sister Ray.
Looking for the downside. I love it, man. Sister Ray. I just noticed, like when I was saying the other day when I played it on that compilation record, which I was laughing. It was like the second song on the record. I'm wondering how you could sell that to, hey, this has got the big hit. I heard her. I mean, Sister Ray, and it takes up like the whole rest of the side. But, and remember, there's some parts of that where she's not right before Maureen comes back and she's like going ta-dum, 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 ta-dum. And then it's kind of sounds like it's like lost in the whole volume war or something. And it's like I can't
Yeah.
know if they're even paying attention to it at all, or if it's just the bass pedal or something. You can't really tell, but
And
it's
that in
funny
the
to
it,
get back in. Yeah, Chapman, Chapman, Chapman,
and
Chapman.
you can hear many bands that with the Velvet Underground, especially, you know that they influenced 100 bands or more
Oh,
that you've heard of, and that jangly, especially with Sister Ray, just that, that just chugging along that jangly guitar sound,
yeah, no
and
now, no
what's
kick,
that?
huge bass drum as a tom tom, pum 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 pum.
Yeah, yeah, and and they weren't nobody else was doing that,
Nobody.
and everyone in every band said, when I heard the Velvet Underground, I knew they could do it. I wanted to start a band,
Yeah,
type of thing.
I love
And
about it.
and there that influence will live on for decades and upon decades, you know.
Agree, agree. They were the first band that just really kind of did their own, kind of did their own thing outside the mold, and I guess maybe didn't have enough, to be able to go into a studio and do something like White Light, White Heat. I mean, what the how does that happen? I mean, Tom Wilson's probably how that happened. Tom Wilson's in charge, and they just let him do what he wants to do because if he
But
had,
songs like "Beginning to See the Light," if Lou would have sold that, I mean, that
all
you
right,
sell that to a pop singer,
yeah,
that's a huge hit.
I love
That's
it.
a hit.
Always love that song. I
Yeah.
agree with you, man. Where are you
Yeah.
with number one, brother? Where are you?
Well, number one, uh, can't help it, man. It just got ingrained, and the first time I heard it, and it was like, it's my wife, and it's my life, and it's heroin.
Wow,
Heroin is number one.
guts. I didn't have the guts. I was on my top.
I know I didn't have the guts either, but man, I just
You
remember
have to be, man.
I would listen to it, and I just like every time I would listen to it, and then Lou Reed live, and just the live versions were always fantastic,
But
and
that original is so organic. The way like the band
it
rises,
is.
falls, like your heartbeat is rising and falling and together and stuff. And during the racing of that, see, I tried to do that at the end of my record, Kensington, my last record, Kensington. I have a part there where the guy goes back to his cab after he goes down to Kensington and scores some fentanyl, and you have to guess to whether or not he makes it as the
And
phone trails off in the air.
Lou's so unapologetic
It
on
is.
this song. I
It
mean,
is.
he's heroin. He's not trying to hide at all. He's not trying to hide it. It's right out
Make
front.
no
What's that?
excuses. He's not making any excuses.
No, no, no excuses at all. And he's admitted it, and it's there, and it's my wife, and it's my life. And I'm just like, wow. And really, when you think about drug addiction, hardcore drug addiction, which heroin addiction doesn't really get any more hardcore. I mean, he lays it out there. That's a guy addicted to a drug, and he's talking about his addiction, and he's pretty open about it.
And the funny thing of it is it was so prevalent in jazz for so many years and
Oh, for decades upon decades.
and it just and somebody is just doesn't lie about it and comes out and tells the truth about it. And
Right.
thank
And
God.
that was it. It was kind of ballsy for me to do, heroin is my one, but I had to.
Yeah, that's fine. When you hear about his biographies about what he was doing sexually and stuff at the time, you're almost glad he didn't put that into some guy's sweaty guy sit on his face and shit for a while.
Oh, absolutely.
But it was wild, man. But anyway, okay, my number one's going to be, the one that I would, if I was playing again, I would probably play as the last song because when the song is done, I
Yeah.
don't know if there's anything more to be said, and that's rock and roll off of the version off of Loaded, man. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
despite all the amputations, you could still get up to a rock and roll station, baby. It was all right. I mean, to me,
it's a
that's
great
what it's
song.
all about, man. And it's the hope of hearing it out there, because I don't know if it has something to do with the generation or whatever, but I lived in a situation where my dad was very benevolent to me and very much turned me on to music, but he was also very controlling and very afraid of certain things like rock. Like
Right,
he didn't like the Stones, and he didn't like that. So I felt like I was blocked off from really hearing the. And it's almost like, oh, this is how marijuana is. Oh, this is how, beer is. This is how, whatever it is. If it's something that's good or whatever, it could be good or whatever, it doesn't do a whole hell of a lot of good to have somebody artificially standing there, because there's
right,
not going to be anybody over the long term, even the ones that go through military school, that are in it to please daddy and mommy. I mean, if you're still trying
right,
to please daddy and mommy when you're 20 years old or 24, man, you've gone down the wrong path. And you better make sure that either you like what you're doing, or whatever. But I mean, but that's I don't know. That's he kind of reminds me. Lou reminds me of somebody that just recognizes that pivotal moment on the song rock and roll, and realizes that that's the moment that this person's going to decide, hey, from a small town. And he says in small town too, I guess, and in
right,
his record. But he's kind of like, this is a time I'm not going to put up with any more bullshit. What they're, to accept the fact, the horror of that nobody wants to go, they could have been lying to me. Maybe they're not telling me the truth here. So, but anyway, rock and roll is just, to me, revolutionary. And I think that's probably why he plays it.
it is. It's a great, and it was on my list, and it's so hard to do these, man.
It is.
Seriously,
But I wish
so
I
hard.
on mine. I tell you, I wish
I mean, I bookended mine with The Gift and heroin.
and
So I
mine
mean,
Jesus and rock and roll. So,
that's what I mean. I mean, and then in between were some things that but a lot of them would say, if somebody said, well, all right, the Velvet Underground, they're a big drug band, aren't they? And I was like, well, I don't know if you could call them a drug band,
yeah.
but I don't think they glorify the use of drugs. But there is a lot of drug related content in in the songbook.
Yeah. Especially in White Light, White Heat, and that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much was it. But all right, Dina. Well, thanks, man, for coming.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
just here, and we're going to get back at some stuff and continue on the Terrible Three, and have a couple other things to do. So, but
Yeah, and the Lou top 10 should be
absolutely.
that
Well,
that there's going to be some shockers there in the top
yeah,
10.
I've
I
got
think.
mine done too. So I'm gonna we'll get to that at some point soon, and
Yeah,
that one done. But
absolutely.
well, thanks for coming by, man, again, Dino, and I'll see you next time, man.
Yeah,
Everybody,
we'll talk, and we've got a lot of exciting things coming up.
that's right. So make sure you
Looking forward.
subscribe, make sure you check the like button, and make sure you leave your comments below. We certainly want to hear what you want to say about this stuff. The Velvet Underground songs. There's so many damn good songs, but again,
Oh, so many.
this is just part of it. The other part of Lou's coming, folks. So till next time, we'll check you later.
See ya. Bye bye.